If you ask who the two greatest men defending the working class are, one is the rising red sun in the east. The other stands firm on the European continent. The proletarian leader in a suit and an octagonal cap, Lenin. He lived in exile 5 times and was imprisoned twice. A Bolshevik fighter who grew up in smoke and war. What kind of spiritual treasure did he leave behind? That his ideological light still shines brightly 100 years later. It's 1917. At that time, Tsarist Russia was stuck in the quagmire of World War I. Over 12 million people were killed, injured, or missing. Famine and plague swept across this ancient, declining empire. Farmland lay barren and industry came to a standstill. Even major core cities like Petrograd and Moscow were hit by a severe food crisis. And the most hateful thing was the Tsarist government's corruption, incompetence, and cruel tyranny. Workers were trampled on and denied basic human rights by the rulers. The people's legitimate rights could never be won through negotiations. Any hint of opposition to the rule could get you sent to the gallows at any time. The people could no longer bear such inhumane oppression. So an unprecedented wave of revolution swept the entire country. Countless workers took to the streets, voicing a resounding protest against the corrupt Tsarist government. In the end, Tsar Nicholas II was forced to abdicate. The Tsarist autocracy collapsed completely. But the provisional government that took over from the Tsar still insisted on continuing the war, trying to cover up the people's most urgent demands with political compromises. Just as the nation was trapped in despair, the great leader who led the workers' struggle stood up like a savior breaking through the darkness. Without hesitation, October 1917, while his comrades in the party argued fiercely in a smoky meeting room about whether to launch the uprising, only 47-year-old Lenin knew that the crucial window of history was quietly closing. So he made a do-or-die decision, leading the massive October Revolution in Petrograd, determined to save this devastated land. Fighting for the survival and dignity of thousands of working people, the uprising forces quickly took control of major strategic locations in the capital, overthrowing the Kerensky provisional government, establishing the world's first socialist state under proletarian dictatorship. After taking power, he issued the Decree on Peace, ending the war with reasonable concessions, freeing Soviet Russia from the drain of World War I. At the same time, he issued the Decree on Land, abolishing feudal land ownership, confiscating land from the royal family, churches, and nobles without compensation, distributing it all to the landless peasants. He abolished the Tsarist-era cruel 16-hour forced labor system, mandating an 8-hour workday for workers. This system protecting workers' rights never wavered, even during the war. But as we all know, in a world ruled by crows, swans are always outliers. Just as the new Bolshevik government was struggling to gain a foothold, feudal remnants and capitalist powers nearby turned their guns on this new red regime, launching a brazen armed intervention, trying to put out the revolutionary spark that terrified capitalists and exploiters. A veteran slowly lifts his helmet. The German sniper sees right through the trick. Still, he pulls the trigger without hesitation. The helmet is blown to pieces with one shot.